I stood on the porch with trembling hands, the key to our house gripped tightly in my palm. The house I shared with Ethan for 6 years now looked strangely unfamiliar. Maybe it was the grief, or maybe it was the silence behind those walls. I tried the key. It didn't fit. Twice. I turned it. Gently at first, then with force. Still nothing. It was like the door had forgotten me. Or worse, like someone had erased me from the life I built inside. Just then, the door creaked open. Not by me. It was his mother, Helen. She didn't look surprised. She didn't even look sorry. "Ava," she said curtly, "you're not supposed to be here." I blinked. This is my home. No, it was Ethan's home. And now he's gone. You have no claim. It hit me like a slap. Not the words, the coldness in her voice, as if I were some tenant overstaying her welcome. Not the wife who held his hand through chemo, who signed the death certificate, who picked out his urn. "You changed the locks," I whispered. She didn't answer. Behind her, I saw his sister Marcy watching, arms crossed, a smirk on her lips. I took a step back. I didn't have energy to fight. Not yet. But that moment, that lock, that silence, it was the first crack, not in the house, in their plan, because they forgot one thing. I didn't come this far to be erased. I sat quietly in the law office, surrounded by faces I once considered family. Ethan's will was on the table, untouched. The lawyer looked nervous. Helen sat upright, her hands folded neatly like she was posing for a magazine cover. Marcy scrolled through her phone. "This meeting is just a formality," Helen said. "We all know Ethan wouldn't want conflict." I stared at her. "Conflict? You changed the locks before the funeral flowers even wilted." The lawyer cleared his throat. "Actually, there's something. Ethan made an amendment 6 months ago. That turned heads." Helen's lips tightened. He slid a document across the table. He added Ava to the deed. 50%. Joint ownership. Silence. Then Marcy scoffed. "That can't be real." I kept my face still. But inside, something flickered. Not triumph. Not yet. But a pulse. A reminder that I wasn't crazy for holding on. Helen leaned forward. "That paper won't change reality. Ethan's gone. She doesn't belong here." The lawyer looked between us. "Legally, she does." For the first time, I saw at a crack in her control. She wasn't expecting me to have proof. She thought I'd be too broken to fight. She was wrong. The next week was a smear campaign I didn't see coming. Suddenly, people I knew, neighbors, friends of Ethan's, looked at me differently. Like I'd faked the marriage. Like I'd married for the money. Like I hadn't held his hand while he vomited blood at 2A. Me. Marcy posted cryptic things on social media. "Some people are better at pretending than loving," and tagged Ethan's memorial page. Helen told church friends I was already dating again, that I never truly loved him, that I was after the house from day one. It hurt, not because they believed it, but because Ethan wasn't here to shut it down. I pulled out the hospital files, the recordings, the video of Ethan thanking me, calling me his light. I posted one, just one, his voice, weak but clear. "Ava's the reason I smiled this year." And the comments shifted. Not to everyone, but some, enough. I didn't need to defend myself to the world, just to the truth. And the truth was, they were losing control. So they did what cowards do next. They played legal games. Their lawyer filed a motion to contest the deed, claimed Ethan was coerced, said he wasn't in his right mind. They wanted the court to throw out the amendment, to treat me like a guest in the house I bled for. I sat in my apartment, the one bedroom I rented after they kicked me out, flipping through old boxes. I needed something, anything. And then I found it, tucked inside a book he gave me for our 4th anniversary. A letter, not typed, handwritten, dated 5 months before he died. It wasn't legal, but it was real. He wrote, "Ava, if you're reading this, I'm probably gone. I want you to have the house. Not because of paperwork, because it's yours. You made it home. I cried for the first time in weeks. Not because I missed him, but because I remembered. I wasn't crazy for feeling ownership. He gave it to me. I scanned the letter, filed it as evidence, and watched as Helen's lawyer tried to argue against Ethan's own handwriting. Let them twist laws. I had something stronger. His words. They thought I'd crumble, that once the legal paperwork started flying, I'd back off, disappear. But Ethan didn't just write a letter. He had hired a separate lawyer, not the family's, not Helen's old friend, a quiet man named Mr. Langston. He specialized in asset protection, the kind that doesn't show up in dinner conversations. I reached out. He remembered me, and he remembered Ethan. He was worried. Langston said his family would try to erase you. He wanted safeguards. He sent over documents, emails, drafts of a trust account Ethan had started to build, with my name as sole beneficiary. I almost dropped the phone, not because of the money, because of what it meant. Ethan saw this coming. He prepared for them, for this war. But that wasn't all. Langston added, "You should know, I was approached recently by Helen's lawyer. They wanted me to testify that Ethan wasn't in sound mind when he hired me." I paused, and I declined. "But they're playing dirty." Of course they were. But this time, I wasn't alone, and I wasn't unarmed. That night, I went back to the last voicemail Ethan ever left me. I played it often. His voice was soft, fading. But this time, I dug deeper. I found an old backup on my laptop, one I hadn't opened since he died. Inside was a folder unnamed, untagged, filled with recordings. One caught my eye. April the 9th. "Mom." I played it. His voice was sharper, healthier, and angry. "Stop treating her like she's temporary." "Mom, Ava's my wife. She's staying." Helen snapped back. "She's not one of us. She never will be. You don't get to decide that." Then, silence. And then Ethan, quieter. "I'm changing the will next week. I don't care what it costs." I hit pause. My hands were shaking. It wasn't just sentiment. It was intent. Proof that his decision wasn't random. That he had fought for me even when I wasn't in the room. I had the recording transcribed, certified, filed it with the court. Their lawyer called it irrelevant, but the judge raised an eyebrow, because for the first time, someone besides me heard Ethan speak, and he spoke for me. At first, I thought I was just being paranoid. The car mirror tilted the wrong way, the hallway light on, even when I was sure I turned it off. My door left unlocked. I started sleeping with the light on. Then one night, I came home to a sticky note on my fridge. It wasn't there before. 2 words, scribbled fast. "Be careful." No signature, no context. I filed a report. The officer nodded, took notes, but his eyes said what his mouth didn't. Grief makes people see things. I wasn't grieving. I was being watched. That night, my phone buzzed. A message, unknown number. "Don't trust Helen. I'm Ethan's cousin. I overheard her. She's planning something bigger." "Batan," I called. No answer. But they sent another message. "She wants you gone. Not just from the house. From everything." Hataz. The air left my lungs. This wasn't grief. This was war. And someone inside their camp was ready to defect. It started with a simple request. I emailed Ethan's oncologist, asking for access to his medical file. As his wife, I was legally allowed. I didn't expect anything, just wanted closure. What I found changed everything. Pages of charts, test results, dosage notes. Then, toward the end, a page labeled Final Treatment Notes. Most of it was typed, but near the bottom, a handwritten add-on by Dr. Sanchez. It read, Patient emphasized property should go to Ava. Repeat confirmed while lucid. I blinked, reread, and then reread again. This wasn't just a wish. It was medical documentation of intent. A doctor had verified, in writing, that Ethan was of sound mind and firm in his decision. I had it scanned, certified, filed. The court accepted it as admissible evidence. Helen's lawyer tried to argue it wasn't relevant to ownership, but even the judge said aloud, "Intent matters." And in those 8 words, scribbled by a man in scrubs, I found the leverage they didn't know existed. They had changed the locks. They had launched attacks. But they never thought the last word would come from a hospital note. They should have. Courtroom. Day 4. Helen came in with fire in her eyes. Their side introduced a recording. Ethan's voice. Cold. Detached. Ava just wants the house. Nothing else. I froze. It sounded like him. Tired. Bitter. But something was wrong. Too flat. Too clipped. I glanced at my lawyer. He nodded. We were ready. I had brought in a forensic audio expert, suggested by Ethan's cousin, the one who warned me. He took the stand, played the original file, then overlaid waveforms. The clip they presented, spliced, chopped from 3 different recordings, expertly done, but detectable. Even the tone shift between syllables gave it away. The courtroom fell quiet. My lawyer stood. Your Honor, this is a fabrication, and it proves motive. The judge looked at Helen. She said nothing. Her silence finally said everything. This wasn't about grief or fairness. It was about control. And when they couldn't control Ethan's voice anymore, they tried to build a new one. But truth has texture, and this one felt too smooth. The ruling came on a Tuesday. I barely slept the night before. My hands were cold all morning. But when the judge spoke, everything stopped. In light of the presented evidence, the court upholds Ava's claim to the property. Deed remains valid. Case closed. Just like that, I got my home back. But more than that, I got myself back. I walked through the front door days later, keys in hand. Same house, same walls. But everything felt different. Because this time, I wasn't entering as someone desperate to be remembered. I was someone who had fought to exist. I unpacked slowly, took my time. In the living room, I placed a new frame on the windowsill. Our wedding photo. He looked alive in that one, like he was halfway through a joke. Underneath, I slid a small note he once scribbled on a napkin. Wherever you are, it's home. I smiled, because they tried to erase me. But now, every room whispers the truth. This was never just his house. It was ours. And now, it's mine.